Hi, we had a member ask about how to resize something and print it. She wanted to do a 20-ounce tumbler and she was really struggling with how to resize that image and print it. A lot of you like to use Canva, which is great. I highly recommend it. I do also recommend that when you use Canva that you not only save as a PDF, which is what a lot of you do, but you also save as a PNG because that PDF cannot be resized. So if you'll save it as a PNG, if you need to use that image on something else, you can always resize it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I am on Google. That's what you see in front of you. And I'm going to go to Google Docs. It's a very easy program to use. It's free to everybody. Click on Google Docs and you will open this. Click on blank document and you will open a blank document. My document has a blue background. I'm going to explain that right now because I'm going to show you how to set up this document. She's doing a 20-ounce tumbler, which is going to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So we're going to click on File, Page Setup, Pages, Whole Document. We're going to do this in landscape, letter size paper with 0 margins. Okay, so far so good. The reason my paper is blue is so that you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm going to leave that on blue, but normally you guys will see it as white, okay? But I'm going to leave it on blue just for demonstration purposes. If I left it on blue and leave the image on there and then send it to print, it's going to print the blue background also. All right. So now we have our document. Now let's go insert a text or insert an image. I opened one up earlier and it's in my photo viewer. So that's the one we're going to use, which is right here. I'm just going to drag and drop it. It's coming in. One of the things that it did because of the way I went and got this image before was it has a big white margin all the way around it. So if I click on this image and I click on image options, I now have the option of doing some stuff. One of the things is size and rotation. Right now it's on 11 by 8.5, but this image is not at 11 by 8.5. And you can see that by the ruler marks up here. Okay, it's actually around, the image itself is around 9.3. But the reason it's coming in at that size is because there is a margin in here. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to show you the first one, and then I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to go finish it up. What we're going to do is we're going to actually crop this image before we go resize it. Because if I resize it right now, all I'm doing is resizing the white space around the image. I'm not actually resizing this actual image. All right, so in order to crop it, you're going to click on the crop tool, which is right next to image options, and you're going to see this black box with these paddles, okay? Those are the lines you got to move. So we're going to move that line in, okay? And we're going to continue to do that up here, black line. Make sure you're on the black line, okay? And on that up and down arrow. And see that line that came down? I'm going to bring it right down to the image. Now I just have to finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay, my image is now 9.32 by 6.28. So that's okay. We're going to leave that alone just for a second. We can't move this image because it's in lock mode. So I'm going to click enter, and now I am going to go over here to wrap text or text wrapping and click on wrap text. And now I can move this image around. Now let's go back up and resize it. One of the things I can't do is if I leave the lock aspect ratio locked, whatever number I do here is going to correspond to this to keep it non-skewed. Skewing an image is okay on some images, some you can't. So you can't take a real square image and then stretch it out unless the image itself will look okay stretched out. In this case, this one will because I am just doing a tumbler. So I got that one done. Now I want to get rid of this side and change it to 8.2 and click enter. My image itself is now, don't touch anything else, okay? Oh, I forgot to turn off lock aspect. That did exactly what I was just talking about. Sorry, my bad. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to make this 9.3. Enter. Now my image, now you can turn lock back on. Now my image is exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's 9.3 by 8.2. Don't touch these scales at all. Leave those alone, okay? We are on wrap text, and now I can move this image around, okay? I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to show you this whole paper. Notice that part of my image now is off of the document, if that's no good, right? Yeah, because if it's off the document, it's not going to print, all right? And we need it to print. We need all of it to print. We don't want just part of it. All right. The other thing I want to make you guys aware of is most regular format printers do not have borderless printing option. So you have to leave a slight margin up here at the top and at the bottom on this. We don't have to worry about the sides on this particular one because it's an 11-inch piece of paper and this is only 9.3 inches. But this is 8.2 inches tall and this is only 8.5-inch wide paper, right? Top to bottom. In this case, in landscape mode. So you have to make sure you have a little bit of margin here and a little bit of margin up here. And it's very, very, very important. And since we're here, I thought I might as well show you a couple other things you can do in here. If you click on image options and you go back over here and you click on adjustments, you will have an opacity change that you can change the opacity on your image. Okay. Obviously, we wouldn't want to do that on this one. You can change the brightness. Okay. So I'm going to leave that back where it was. It's a little too dark. Okay. And that's a little too bright. And that's a little too dark, but you get the option. You get the idea. All right. So that looks okay there. And you can move your contrast up a little bit. All right. So there's extra things you can do. So don't think for 1 second. And if you don't like any of it, just hit reset and it'll go back to what you had originally. All right. The other thing is you can change your X and Y. X and Y. Okay. So X is how far over and Y is how far down. And right now we want to be at 0.25 so that we have that 1/4 inch. Okay. But then it's a little bit too close to the bottom. So now we're going to move it up just a little bit. And okay, so now it keeps moving off of the paper. Oh, because I'm on the minus side. All right, hang on. I'm going to do 0.18. Okay. So at 0.18, I have a little bit at the bottom and a little bit at the top, 0.15, 0.18, somewhere in there. You just don't want to cut off your image, okay? So I actually think I am going to change this to 0.15. And now I have just about the same at the top and at the bottom, okay? All right, now we're ready to go to print because now we have an image. It's the right size. Everything's great. We put it where we needed to. Now let's go print it. We're going to hit File, Print. Oh, if I don't go turn off that blue background, it's going to print. But I'm going to leave it on just for you guys. If I was printing this, I would turn that off. Okay. So once you hit print, you're going to get this pop-up. Make sure you're on the right printer. I have a whole bunch. So, I mean, you know, you got to pick the one you're going to use, right? In this particular case, we are going to use the 2800 for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to leave it on the 28. Pages all, copies 1, color is color, obviously. Click on more settings. Don't just hit print. You got to do a couple other things. Make sure your paper size is correct. Leave everything else alone. Click on print using system dialog. You'll get this pop-up box. Again, make sure you're on the right printer. Make sure your orientation is correct. Make sure you're on color. I know it sounds silly, but you'd be surprised. All right, if you have downloaded your drivers and if you have a Windows computer, you're going to see this. If you haven't downloaded your drivers, you will get a pop-up that only has 2 tabs. You need 3. If you don't have the 3-tab option, you didn't download your drivers or you're on the wrong printer, and go check that. Okay, so what's important on this page? Paper size, obviously. Orientation, obviously. And then paper type is very important. This is a step a lot of people miss. This paper type and quality needs to be set, and I'm going to give you a heads up. If this paper type and your printer do not match, you will get printer error, paper mismatch. Don't print past that. You are sending erroneous information to your printer. Set this up to whatever's on your printer, premium presentation paper matte, whatever, okay? And then up your quality to the highest, all right? So if I put this on, let's just go with presentation paper matte and on high, then I would be okay as long as my printer has this selected. If it doesn't, I have to go change it. All right, so I'm not going to actually print this, so it doesn't really matter what mine's on. This right here is probably one of the greatest saviors of all of us. If you don't like to make mistakes. That would be me. I make enough of them on my own. I don't need any extra help. So I like to have the print preview turned on. Okay, and I'll show you why in just a second. The other thing is very important is click on more options and turn off bidirectional and turn on mirror. Then go set up whatever color setting you want to set up. Go back to main, double check everything. I don't usually have these on. That's just me. I don't like things turned on that I'm not using. Stay out of this box completely. On this box, stay out of here, please. I know people are talking about do this, set the fit the page. No, you don't need to do any of that. If you set things up correctly, you never have to touch anything in this box. So stay out of that box. This is how you do it. Now you go to click OK. And we're going to click print. And we're going to get a print preview. Once the print preview comes up, you're going to see that the paper is in the right direction. Okay. And everything's mirrored. I have that margin up at the top and at the bottom that I wanted. So we're good there. This is a good print. I know that it's 11 inches wide paper document. And I can see, you guys can see that blue space over there. You don't see any blue up there. Remember what I said, this will cut that off because of the margins built in. There's a little tiny one down here at the bottom. So maybe 0.16 would have been a better centering. All right, that's how you would go to print. I would hit print and I would get this document out of my printer. I hope this helps. Have a really great day. Again, if you need any help, just ask. We are changing things up a little bit in this group, and one of the things we are going to do is help people actually get the right information. Have a great day, everybody.